Hello everybody and welcome back to Victoria 3, where the specter haunting the world is progressing, and we're probably going to end up with some sort of a socialism problem very soon here. So we'll continue to tick forward, we'll see how that goes. Our economy is, of course, soaring, and that is wonderful. But in the meantime, we're gonna have to do something about that, almost certainly. And by something, I mean absolutely nothing. Fantastic. We're going to continue to tick on forward here. And these motor industries in Tver will be done relatively soon, right? Right. How are we doing on our infamy? 29.6. Okay, so we've got some time for that to continue to drop. That all sounds good. We're continuing to harm relations with China. We will be going after bits of China soon. Austria sided with China against a religious revolt. That's intriguing. Definitely noted. Austria is reasonably strong. China is not, so we definitely have that going for us. But we'll see how that ends up going. It'll be an interesting one. Our radicalism is intense. There's no doubt about that. And we can see where our radicals are mostly located. Yeah, that's fairly expected. Pretty much what we were expecting entirely. So that's reasonably fine. Restricted child labor is going to be passing fairly soon, and the question is, do we go to, like, Council Republic? Okay, we had a debate success here. Sure, that seems fine. Do we go to Council Republic? I mean, maybe after the Spectre haunting the world. This is going to finish very soon. There's nothing we can do about it. Like, we cannot stop this from happening. It just is going to happen. So that's fine. The positive stage, it'll be a thing eventually, but we'll see what happens with that after the Spectre haunting the world. So this is definitely going to be a thing. Momentum to the Octoberist Party? Sure, whatever. I guess that's fine. We have an election coming through, and currently the Octoberist Party is absolutely going to win it. But the Spectre haunting the world will be done before then. So that is definitely something to think about. We'll see what happens with this event. I have no idea what's going to happen. A World to Win is an event, and communist, anarchist, and vanguardist characters will appear much more frequently. Okay, cool. We'll see what that ends up meaning. So Civilizing Mission has been unlocked. Not like that's particularly helpful for us. How are we doing on our automobiles shortage? Okay, it's getting better, but it's certainly not perfect. Pan-nationalism is currently spreading. Okay. What does that tech do? That's a society tech, right? And pan-nationalism, let's just double check here. Plus 10% authority and leading to multilateral alliances. Okay, so the Spectre haunting the world is going to be a thing very soon here. That is going to pop after this next month tick, so that's incredibly soon. Restricted child labor, I really hope to have passed soon, because we'd love to bring up our literacy. Checking in on our innovation cap, we're still good. Okay, so here's a world to win. With socialist ideas sweeping across Russia, the Romanov government has determined that drastic concessions to arrest its progress must be considered. There's sufficient momentum for a rapid policy change. The proletariat is everywhere assuming a threatening attitude, and is beginning to count the ranks of its enemy, far weaker in numbers than itself, and to demand the actualization of its rights. All people are filled with a kind of premonition, and everyone whose vital organs are not paralyzed face with shuddering expectation the approaching future, which will utter the redeeming word. So we can offer greater wages, and that would give us wage subsidies. And if we do this, the trade unions will always select vanguardist, communist, or anarchist leaders. Other interest groups are much more likely. We could guarantee better conditions for the workers, putting in regulatory bodies. And honestly, I kind of want to do that anyway. I would have passed this anyway. Let's give them regulatory bodies. Sure. And yeah, that means that the trade unions are going to be, well, we're going to have problems down the line, right? Almost certainly, but that's fine. We can put in regulatory bodies here, minus 20% dangerous worker conditions, and that is going to be very helpful for us. Specifically, with our population. We're going to start to see a large population bump from that over time. There's going to be some problems with it, for sure. But we did just pass into assent with restricted child labor. That's fantastic. And our election is happening soon. The Octoberist Party is still going to be winning a significant margin here. Okay. I mean, given our current voting laws, that's not shocking. Out of curiosity. So yes, this did indeed happen, and we're at unacceptable 48. Okay. We could actually put the industrialists and intelligentsia in. Okay, so some of this is because Nikolai Romanov is intelligentsia. This is very interesting. And I think we want to. So we'll form our government that way. That bumps up restricted child labor up to 83, 84%. And if we check into census suffrage, if we were to do that, it will still radicalize the gentry assembly. The question is, how much do we care about that? Are we willing to fight a civil war over census suffrage? I mean, possibly is the answer to that. We'll have to think about it. It's an interesting question, to be sure. I would absolutely like to be getting to something more along the lines of universal suffrage. Obviously, no one wants this right now. But census suffrage, only 7.1% go away from this. The gentry assembly is only 7.1%. I'm going to suppress them. Okay, there we go. So we're going to suppress the gentry at this point. We're kind of transitioning over from an authoritarian into more of a socialist outlay, right? I'd like to do it without a civil war, ideally. But, I mean, that's definitely the way that Russia wants to go, right? That's the historical path here. So that's definitely an interesting route to go. But I would like to do it without the civil war, ideally. I don't know how possible that is, but with our leadership in intelligentsia, that does make things a lot simpler on that front. No doubt about it. Now, we are paying off our debt at a pretty good clip here. And we've only got 3.56k in interest, so we don't really care too much about that. We could consider dropping taxes. There's our restricted child labor, and that allows us to bring up our max education institution investment. It also increases the mortality rate of farmers, laborers, and peasants. Okay. So I'd be very interested in bumping up our education investment. We'll get that going right away. Absolutely. So if we were to do census suffrage, what do we think that the odds are that the gentry assembly actually does something bad about this? I think it's pretty high, but they're only 7.1% of power. But the question is, if they have a revolution, how many states would go with them? Right? That's the question. Let's do it. Let's find out. There's almost certainly going to be a rebellion here over this one. So we'll see. But they're not in government right now, so we don't have a problem there. They're only 7.1% of power. Okay, so there's a political movement to preserve landed voting. It's at high radicalism of 42. Noted. But the gentry assembly are dropping in their clout considerably. So that is looking good. We'll keep an eye on that, and hopefully census suffrage just flies through, and we don't have to worry about it. That would be ideal. I would absolutely like to get voting power out of the hands of the gentry assembly, because, of course, landed voting gives the gentry basically all of the voting, right? The gentry are the ones who vote currently. It's kind of remarkable that we've dropped them down to 7% power, with that being the case. So that's all good. We're finishing up our motor industries, and we are still rocking an automobile... No, never mind. We're not rocking an automobile shortage anymore. There is an electricity shortage out over here. Okay. This is a lack of workers. So we have 17.5k peasants here. I'm going to subsidize this, but I'm guessing... Yeah, they're hiring in people now. Okay. I think we just need to subsidize that. That seems good. Market access is low in Samara. We are currently building a railway there, so no concerns. What else do we have going on here? I mean, radios are expensive. Yeah, no one on the planet has radios. There is that. These power plants in Perm should be expanded. We'll get that going. Absolutely. And our motor industries in Tver are finishing up now. The question is, once these finish... And once we finish getting all of our employment here, how are we going to be doing as far as the price of automobiles? The price has already dropped considerably. Okay, and we are seeing some private construction coming through. I don't think we need to worry about the price of automobiles or engines right now. Rubber is, of course, an issue. And I'd like to import more, but we don't have access to rubber, right? Getting access to rubber would be a very useful thing. We could potentially come and attack somebody down over here, like, say, Brunei. Does Brunei have access to rubber in this state? They do. 12 rubber plantations. So that is a theoretical option. We don't have any interest down over here currently. We'd have to declare an interest. So let's see here. Diplomatic lens, declare interest. So we can declare an interest in Indonesia, and that interest would be specifically in acquiring rubber, right? And this is what, Dutch down here? Yeah, Dutch East Indies. Okay, we could potentially do some battling over here. If we're going to do this, we should probably build a real, actual navy, as opposed to whatever this is. We don't have access to submarines or carriers right now. We want to have one more torpedo boat than we have capital ships, I believe. So I'm thinking about increasing the number here, and let's sort by job seekers. Increasing the number here from 18 up to perhaps 31. So that would be 20. And then we'd need an additional like that. So that would put us at 31. Then we could get our capital ships up to 30. So we would need 16 here, right? And that would be, let's see, that would be 19. Okay, so we'd just take this up to 29. Something kind of like that. Yeah. So we're just expanding our fleets a bit. But that takes us up to 30, right? I kind of want to take this up to 51 and 50. So we'll add in another 11 here. And then I'll add in 9 in Ingria. So that should bring us up to 50. I want 51. There we go. And then our ironclads, we're going to need to add in 20. So then that would be 10 here and 10 here. Okay, there we go. So we're going to get these naval bases going. We need to build a real, actual fleet. And I'm going to bump up this power plant, but we'll cruise through these naval bases very, very quickly. That'll be fine. We'll build a real, actual fleet, and we'll be able to, hopefully, sail some forces down here and attack Brunei, and we'll look for additional rubber expansion opportunities down here. Our infamy is currently reputable. We need to continue to let that drop, and once our interest is established over here, we'll be able to go after these guys very, very quickly. Gold has been depleted in the Yukon territory. That, of course, means we need to build gold mines in the Yukon territory. So we're going to get that going as the top priority. We're still going to be building these naval bases in the background, 4 at a time. That seems reasonable. Okay, this is a lot more than 4. That's a whole lot more than 4. Cool. So we're absolutely fine with that. Our literacy is continuing to come up. That looks good. China's literacy is not doing so well. That's for sure. Okay, so there's a liberal revolt in Kishizu's. That's fine. We can send the National Guard over to deal with that. No problem whatsoever. In fact, there are 2 fronts here. Looks like Kishizu's is heading to this front, so we're going to head down to this one. I don't think we need to reinforce him on this front. I'm guessing these guys don't have an army. Yeah, they don't have an army. So this is absolutely fine. We don't need to do anything more than that. Looks good. Our gold mines are going to be completing in about 6 weeks. Keep in mind, we're working on telephones right now. We have 8 weeks on that. There's a revolution in Oceania, okay, against the French Commune. Sure, that seems absolutely fine. And our naval base in Ingria is going fine. Our landed voting preservation here is not so bad, and we did move directly into consideration. So that looks good. That looks absolutely good. We would love to get off of landed voting. So we'll see how that goes. Our naval bases are going to be done fairly soon. It's going to take us a while to get that training done. Are we at... Okay, we're at maximum training right now. Good. So that seems absolutely fine. No problem whatsoever there. I'm completely content with our construction speed right now. Our reinvestment needs to continue to grow quite a lot before we do anything there. Italy sided with Spain in a diplomatic play against fascist Philippines. Okay, well, that's not a big deal for now. So naval bases in Kuban are finishing up. That all seems okay. The question is, if we launch an attack on Brunei, does the US intervene? That is indeed a question. Austria has declared their rivalry. Okay, that is noted. And there's a communist Finnish diplomatic play against us as well. So our vassals are definitely having some issues, but we'll get this taken care of nice and quickly, and then we'll just send these guys up. Honestly, Finland probably has that under control, is my guess. But we'll just let these play out. That's absolutely fine. Oh, we can grab a positive stage. So let's definitely... So much radicalism from this. Oh boy. It's absolutely wonderful. Yep, absolutely. So we're going to start grabbing radio. We have electrics industries available right now. So I want to get some built. And where do we want to build them? Well, let's just see where we've got the most job seekers. It's Moscow. Okay, so we'll do this in like about 5. We don't actually have any demand for telephones right now, but I want to get a base level of industry going there first before we change over to like telephone exchanges, which is going to be a thing that we're probably going to need to do. Let's see here. That is under development now, isn't it? Yes, it is. So telephone switchboards are going to require central planning. Sure. Hang on. Telephones actually, what do they unlock directly other than the electrics industry? Just the electrics industry. Okay, so it's not like a production method that utilizes telephones. Okay, well, we're not going to have a huge amount of need for those telephones until we get access to radios. So that's fine, but it's going to take some time. War with the Kishi liberal revolt has broken out, and, I mean, this war's already over. There's nothing they can do about it. We don't need to help Finland. Finland has that under control. Technically, we didn't need to help Kishi Zuz either. Now, we are negative in our bureaucracy at this moment, and that is a bit of a problem. Let's take a look at government administrations. We do have some taxation capacity needed. Okay. We also apparently have some government administrations queued up somewhere that we should probably just move up. Yes, down here. I'm just going to move those up because we're negative in our bureaucracy right now, and that is going to be a thing that we want to finish. The electrics industries, I'm going to prioritize. Actually, we don't need to prioritize the electrics industries. What am I doing? We don't need the electrics industries yet. We can keep them where they are. I do want to prioritize these naval bases, though. Okay, so we'll do something like that. We're going to be working on government administrations here, bringing ourselves out of a deficit of bureaucracy. So that'll be absolutely fine. We are currently done here. I want these guys to actually travel up over here and get that eliminated. Okay. Once they make their way to the railroad, things, of course, go fairly quickly. There's a rubber shortage in Tver. There's not a lot we can do about a rubber shortage, obviously. But there is some electricity shortages going on here. So taking a look at this situation, yes, we can absolutely expand our power plant here. There's also an electricity shortage here. I'm simply going to subsidize that. Okay. So that seems reasonably fine. We are now done. Oh, we hit a stall for our census suffrage. That is unfortunate. We're going to take the -5 enactment success chance, but it's not great. Okay, so that's reasonably fine for the moment. We'll get these rebellions put down, and we're absolutely going to be targeting Brunei fairly soon here. Our fleet is improving, of course. And I'm interested in our infamy right now. 22.1. Okay, so if we went for Brunei, if we puppeted them, that's actually an unavailable play right now. If we made Protectorate. Why is that currently unavailable? Oh, because we're currently fighting in a war. 3.2 infamy for that. But if we directly take the state, 8.1 infamy. Okay, that is noted. That's not too bad, all things considered. We'll let our infamy continue to drop until we are out of these wars, and then we can evaluate what that's going to end up looking like. Cool. So I'm reasonably okay with that. I want to check in on our institutions here. Yeah, we're still progressing up here, but we lack the bureaucracy to progress. We see our bureaucracy is steadily ticking downward. And that, of course, means that we need to finish up these government administrations as quick as we can. We're working on it. Cool. War with communist Finland has broken out. That is, of course, expected. And the war's over. There's nothing they can do about it. That war is very thoroughly won. The real question now is, can we get our hands on Brunei's rubber? We would be delighted to take some territory down here. Maybe taking all of Borneo? I don't know. We'll see what that ends up looking like. There's probably some rubber in some of these states that we could get our hands on. Gold mines as well. Rubber plantations available here. Yeah, there's definitely rubber available down here, and I want to get our hands on that rubber. That will be absolutely delighting, and we'll get that as soon as we can. These government administrations are being worked on, and we are seeing our bureaucracy improving, but it's not absolutely ideal at this time. The question is, just how much is it costing us to bring this up? Well, bureaucracy cost per investment level is 674. Okay, so that should be improving. I don't think this is actually progressing right now because we have a bureaucracy deficit. We need 281 additional bureaucracy. There's the Kishi Liberal Revolt, and that's, of course, over. So no problem whatsoever there. Communist Finland is taken care of. And our fleet is still being recruited. We do need to promote our admiral here. And we're going to have to promote him again, which of course costs bureaucracy. We're actually going to have to promote him one more time. Technically, even one more time beyond that, because this is going to be at 51. I'm going to reduce our number of ironclads by 1. That will put us at exactly 100, which is more like it. If this guy's maxed out here, I don't really want to put in an additional admiral, so that'll be fine. That'll be absolutely okay for the time being. So, taking a look at census suffrage, what are the odds that we actually have this pass? It's pretty good. Pretty good odds. And we would be delighted to just get that through and not have this landed voting here. That's pushing a lot of radicalism. No doubt about that. So we've got a good vintage here. We can take some prestige, and sure, I guess we'll do that. What do we got for census suffrage? We hit a stall? Okay. Never mind. I was thinking stall was the 1% and debate was the 33. It's the other way around. That makes more sense. Okay, so that's absolutely fine. We could just wish him a speedy recovery, or we could scour any vicinity for assassins on the double. And that's what we're going to do. Now, these guys are going to be done here, Communist Finland, very, very soon. The question is, are we good on our bureaucracy with those constructions? I think the answer is not quite, although it looks like we do need a railway. That's being built by private construction. Okay, no problem whatsoever there. I want to sort by taxation capacity. Okay. We are improving our bureaucracy gains here, but I think we need a little bit more. So I'm going to build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just like that. We're going to get these government administrations finished up. Our power plant in eastern Afghanistan is finishing presently. And these electrics industries will be done very, very soon as well. Now, the electrics industries aren't going to have much to do yet. I want to be clear about that. Communist Finland has capitulated, and that is great. We do see our funds continue to increase, which is also great. Okay, so the question is, when are we going to go after Brunei? Well, our infamy is at 19.7, and I would like to do this hopefully at a time when the US wouldn't be interested in doing that, like doing anything about it, right? That would be ideal. The Japanese shogunate wants a trade agreement. We'll accept that. That seems reasonably fine. And we're continuing to build our oil rigs and fueling our economy off of our oil, which is, of course, absolutely fine. We are soaring our economy right now. We're still number 3 worldwide. Anhalt backed down against communist Anhalt? Okay, that seems exciting. The real question is anyone interested if we were to do a conquer state here? I want to take a quick look at this. Obviously, they'll not accept this. This will be 8.2 infamy, and that's not all that much infamy, to be honest. We'll get access to at least some amount of rubber from doing this. The question is, do any of these guys decide to join? They're all undecided, and again, in the next version of the game, this tooltip is going to tell us how many reasons they have one way or another, which will be a lot of useful information in deciding this. But I suspect that these guys are not going to join this, with the possible exception of Great Britain. We can see that the US actually has no interests in this area. So if Britain or France gets into this, that would be a problem. Anyone else? Not so much. Okay. I think we don't do this quite yet. We wait until our infamy will remain below 25, which will mean next episode we're going to declare on Brunei. I just don't want to fight Britain and or France at the same time, right? And I'd love to just get in there, get Brunei under our control, and get the rubber and get out. That would be the goal. For now, though, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to invade Brunei, get ourselves some rubber. We should probably get our fleet moving down there right now. So for the moment, I'm going to have these guys station in the HQ that is down here. We don't have, like, fleet basing rights in Macron or in Persia. I intended to base our fleet down here. We could annex them. That would delay things, though. It's very, very interesting that we apparently don't have fleet basing rights in our vassal here. I expected to be able to do that. Regardless, it doesn't really matter. We can just sail our fleet over here and take control over, like, this sea node. But that is definitely a little sad that we can't start from Macron. At any rate, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to take a little bit of Brunei, and that's going to bump us up about 8 infamy, but that's okay. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadowwolf, Kentogan, Ali Lee, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.